Today, a unanimous jury convicted Cody Fohrenkam of the murder of Deshaun Hill. Nearly 1 year ago, on February 9th, 2022, 15-year-old Deshaun, a son, a brother, a student, an athlete, a friend, was simply walking down the street when he was violently shot and killed. This senseless act of gun violence devastated those who knew and loved Deshaun and everyone in the North High School community and beyond. With this verdict, Mr. Fohrenkam is legally accountable for taking Deshaun's life. Gun violence is far too common in our communities. The prevalence of guns in our neighborhoods means even the smallest incidents can turn violent in an instant. A flash of anger over a perceived affront during a minor motor vehicle interaction, a school disagreement, or simply a bad day after having a phone stolen. As a community, we must take this violence seriously, and it must spur us to action. I am committed to doing my part, working with others in the community and at all levels to help get guns off the streets, bring justice for victims and their families, and to protect those not yet harmed by working to prevent violent crime in the first place. We know arrest and prosecution is not sufficient to end gun violence. We need to address the issues that make violence a viable decision for far too many people. Our goal should be to prevent violence before it takes a life or harms another victim. But aggressive prosecution of violent crime is a critical part of a comprehensive response to violence. This office will continue to work with law enforcement to aggressively prosecute violence and hold those responsible accountable. A conviction like this, in a case like this, isn't possible without many, many people playing a role. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of them. First and foremost, to Deshaun's family and loved ones. You have endured a year of sadness and loss. Nothing will bring Deshaun back, but I hope you can find some level of comfort in this verdict. To our community, this conviction was possible only because several people from the community showed extraordinary courage and helped law enforcement identify the person responsible and hold him accountable. If we are to truly address gun violence, this is what it will take. All of us coming together as a community to do our part and refuse to accept gun violence. To the Minneapolis Police Department, officers, investigators, analysts, and others who played a role, this was great police work and effective investigation. I'm thankful for the partnership. And our team at the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. There is a whole group of people who work on cases and ultimately get them ready for trial. Many of them are behind the scenes. I am grateful for the lawyers, the victim advocates, the paralegals, the video team, and all in our office who played a role. This is difficult work, and I'm grateful to all of you. Finally, to the jury, thank you for your service. It has to be very hard to be on any jury, and particularly this one. The jury took their job seriously and played their part. As I pledged when I sought this office, we will put victims and those around them at the center of our work, and we will aggressively prosecute violence in our communities. While this case began before I took office, this verdict makes it clear we will continue to confront violence and hold those responsible and accountable. Nothing will bring Deshaun back, but I hope this verdict is one step forward on the path towards healing for Deshaun's family and all who were impacted by this tragedy. Chief O'Hare?
Thank you, County Attorney.
Speak up, I can't hear you.
Sure.
I'm right here.
Thank you, County Attorney. First off, on behalf of the Minneapolis Police Department, we send our condolences again to the family and loved ones of Deshaun. And our condolences also to his teammates and to his classmates at North High School. As the prosecutor said, there are no charges, no verdict that can take away the pain and suffering that this has caused. Murder is the pinnacle of injustice. Every act of murder, every act of gun violence in our city causes immeasurable harm. And the fact is, there remains an outrageous and completely unacceptable amount of gun violence in our city. That's why I'm thankful to all those who helped bring a resolution today in this case. I'm thankful to the members of the Minneapolis Police, those who knew Deshaun, who coached him and loved him, as well as all those Minneapolis police officers who worked so diligently to ensure that there was sufficient evidence brought in this case. I'm thankful also for the courage and the partnership of all the members of the community who also did their part to ensure that justice would be served in this case. And lastly, of course, I'm thankful to our county attorney and to her staff who brought this resolution today. Thank you.
Mary, what sort of sentence is your office going to seek in this case?
I'm sure we'll seek the highest sentence under the guidelines. That's what we'll ask for.
Which is, you know what that would be offhand?
I don't know off the top of my head. We'll get that to you.
And Mayor, I know your office has put out a stand with the families here right before you, and as soon as they got done celebrating, they obviously singled out Dan Aller and Chris's work on this. The second sort of statement out of their mouth is, but if Deshaun was still in school that day, that principal, that school was wide open, he should have been at lunch, family should have been notified, they'd asked for some type of probe of negligence. Do you see anything in their pleas to you to keep that part of this case open, or is that a closed deal and you're just going to hold the gunman accountable?
What I hear from them is tremendous pain and searching for answers for what was a completely random, senseless, violent crime. Having said that, there just are not any criminal charges that will be brought against the principal. That's a no.
And Chief, something for you. I know this investigation precedes you. I'm Paul Cole, Channel 9,
Sure.
Fox News. Nice to see you. What we found out during that investigation, again, some awesome police work, the puzzle that all comes together. But Mary's former team over at the Public Defender's Office did raise some issues about the way photo lineups are done, some eyewitness identification. Our judge allowed it all in. It all came together. Have you heard about any concerns in the way the investigation that was done on the murder side that might change policy, that might reinforce policy? Has anything come to your attention on that front?
None, no. And as you referenced, the judge allowing the admission of evidence, in my opinion, resolves that issue.
And have you seen that video? Did you again, I know it's
I have,
you.
yes.
Just the senselessness of that.
Yes.
Just on the side, can you speak to what you've seen in that video?
Well, unfortunately, that is the reality of the vast majority of gun violence in our city and in cities all across the country. It is absolutely senseless. The reality is it happens, on the spur of the moment because way too many people who should not have access to guns have access to guns. Despite the police department having hundreds of fewer officers, the lowest staffing level in decades here, we recovered the most number of illegal firearms ever last year. And it's just outrageous. Acts of violence happen, as senseless as in this case. They happen because, somebody blows the horn at somebody in road rage, somebody pulls out a gun and shoots them. It's all sorts of acts of conflict resolution that are handled in a violent manner simply because there are way too many guns on our streets.
And then one other thing I would ask is about how the community stepped forward. Because
Yeah.
there wasn't a smoking gun, there was no murder weapon,
Yep.
we didn't recover the clothes, no fingerprint, no DNA at the scene. But it was surveillance video,
Yeah.
investigators piecing that together. It was getting witness cooperation in the neighborhood, turning over Nest camera,
Yep.
Ring camera. How important is it to solve these gun crimes
It's
if you don't have community?
It's absolutely essential. Like we will not be in a state, we will not be in a place where we will be able to significantly reduce gun violence and violent crime and maintain those reductions unless we have strong partnerships with all members of our community. And I'm just thankful that in this case, so many members of the community were willing to step up and say something. And to the ability that we are able, as we go forward, to build better relationships with people across the city, we will be in a better position to address these issues together.